Can you please remove all movements since down? Almighty God, without whose life such is vain, without whose help labor is useless, we thy unworthy servants here gathered, do humbly beseech thee to send down your heavenly wisdom to direct and guide us in all our deliberations, and laying aside our private interests, prejudices, and partial affections. The result of their counsels may be in your glorious name. Amen. Let's assume our seats. Resume your seat. Resume your seat. We'll start by introduction. The MPs will introduce themselves first. Self-introduction. Starting.
Good morning. I am Honorable Francis Ama Kaisamba from Kenewa District.
Good morning. I'm Honorable Dixon from John District, one German.
Good morning. Honorable Bashir Seliki, Deputy Leader of Government Business, Deputy Majority Leader, Chairman of this committee.
Honorable Mohamed Bangura, Acting Leader of Government, Minority Leader. Honorable Mohamed Bangura. The Honorable Mohamed Bangura, Acting Minority Leader.
Honorable Lolotongi, Kalau District. Honorable Ibekai Kamara, Komo District.
Honorable Ibrahim Bawakonte, President Mayor of our district.
I'm Dilya Sunga, head of the Secretariat for this committee. Mr. Chairman, what's your name? I present to you the following presidential nominees for your consideration. If I call you, just indicate by your right hand that the MPs see you. 1. Ms. Kenya Bali, Minister of Planning and Economy. 2. Dr. Tura Seneki, Minister of Land, proposed Minister of Land. Why is it that? Yeah, 3. So let him be standing. Sorry, Miss Kenya.
Before you go further, can we have all the appointees, starting the ministers at the forefront and the deputies at the back? That's what we want to see. So I cannot be seat.
All ministers
For the front and second seat are meant purely for the appointees. First and second for the appointees. And purely this other side, my left hand side is for the MPs, but it's just after the ministers. The front seat and the second seat, the front row and the second row, only for the appointees.
Ready? I will use my power.
You have to read it. Just give your speech time. When you want the minister to speak properly. Yes, you can start. 61.
Are you anticipating Simon for 2028?
Yes,
Not at all, my leader. I want you to come in here 2024. We are here to support you, sir. We are here to support our leadership.
We are not here on Friday.
Yes, on the leadership. To support the
Only
leadership.
one day you still
What do you want to do?
The district chair.
What do you want to do now?
Yes, introduction.
Well, we have not done the introduction yet to the panel.
No.
Are you sure? Are you
Except for everybody to see.
Director, are you all right?
I'm all right.
Are you all right?
I'm all right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am Honorable Matthew Sanyuma, Majority Leader, Leader of Government Business, Chairman of the Committee. Before we proceed, I don't want to see people standing at the back. If you don't have seats, and you're not a nominee, you're just a follower, you either take your seat or you leave us at the moment. I give you 2 minutes to do that. The only people are allowed to lean on the wall, we allow the journalists to do so. If you don't have, please. We want to respect our nominees. And the MP2, we are here. If you're not a journalist, don't lean on the wall. And security, if you're a security personnel, you stay out. And after photographs, security personnel and journalists, you take your back seats.
You are not here ready to do it. You are here. I want to
For security personnel, stay out. Okay, let's proceed.
I know the new source information actually is here.
We want to get some.
I present to you the said ministers for today. 1, Ms. Kenya Bali, Minister of Planning and Community Development. Dr. Turat Senesi, Minister of Land. Mr. Conrad Saki, Minister of Basic and Senior Education. Mr. Mohamed O. Bangura, Minister of Youth. Mr. Mohamed Rahman Swari, Minister of Dr. Aissata Mahor, Minister of Gender and Family. Mrs. Augusta T. Man, Minister. Dr. Dennis M. Sandi. Ten. Yes, it's a society. Yes, Mr. Mohammed Ike Ali, Resident Minister South. Mr. Dennis.
No, hold on. Are you saying Resident Minister South? Did you say that?
Proposed Resident Minister South.
Proposed.
Proposed.
Take that one off record, please.
Proposed. Except you have
You
to.
cannot do rubber stamp committee.
Except you have to.
Not me, the president.
Yes, sir. I proceed. Mr. Beshe Gube, J. Gube, proposed Resident Minister East. And then, Chairman, you have to remark.
I think
Yes.
my colleagues, I said it earlier that I've seen the proposed statute sandwich by my colleagues. It resembles as if they have to if the symbiotic relationship which some of us will not accept. Yeah, it's a more parasitic one. Having protection. But it's our colleagues. You are free. This is your house. You are free to support. I know for now you all have the same surname. The Goobers.
Yes.
You have the same surname. So
Thank
you
you, my
believe the proposed service again. Call it again, so they all stand up together. So we now know that they have changed their surname.
I repeat,
Yes.
Mr. J. Goobers, proposed president minister.
They are now Goobers. All right.
It's not deliberate, Mr. Chairman. I will now call Dr. Dennis N. Sandy, Minister, proposed Minister proposed Minister of Works.
Obviously, you are far back.
The second.
Commissioner.
So it's you
Mr.
will
Minister.
let us see properly.
Commissioner.
One here.
Commissioner should join the teach. And the minister should come to the Commissioner is my brother.
Thank you.
Come to the front.
That is a
You are coming from full.
That proposed commissioner is a solid commissioner. That's the only thing. So you have to be very careful. The proposed commissioner. You see, my brother was very careful in talking about the commissioner. He says he's a commissioner, strategic commissioner.
Yeah.
The other one is the bigger one. But anyway,
The commissioner of the force.
go ahead.
I proceed to propose
Very public.
Mr. Julius Matai, proposed Minister of Mines and Minerals.
The speaker's ready.
The next list, I will stop so far. These are the ministers. Then I have the addendum, which is the deputy minister.
Go ahead.
1. Sergio Aziz Kamara, deputy minister. Proposed deputy minister of
An ordinary clap is not stand as it is for Mr. Bullet.
It's the first time. It's the first time. Sergio has been there before. He has been there before. So
I go ahead.
repeat it again, please. Please repeat again.
Ministers,
Yes.
Go ahead.
I take instruction from my chairman.
You are responding to other tools.
Yes. 2. Mrs. Frances Peggy Agali, Deputy Minister, Foreign Affairs and International. Dr. Yalikatu, Deputy Minister, Trade and Industry. No, hold on. Mr. Alpha Sise, Deputy Minister of
He's
Justice.
educated.
Sir?
She's around.
No, Yalikatu is-
She's not around.
Yes.
She was here. She was here. Told her to go and come tomorrow.
They know you are dealing with the ministers first. So,
With the expect that you to let
so according to the I continue. Colonel retired Mwana B. Masako, Deputy Minister, proposed Deputy Minister of Defense. Mr. Ibrahim Brahma Soare, proposed Commissioner General, National Revenue Authority. Mr. Amara Brewer, proposed Director General of Mr. Mokari Kaloko, Deputy Minister, proposed Deputy Minister of Finance, 2. Geneva J. Bangura, proposed Deputy Minister of Finance, 1. Mr. Chairman, your nominees.
No. They're just a visitor here.
You know me.
No. They're not a visitor. No.
So were you expecting your name?
No. With respect, Mrs. Wuri, Fatmata Wuri, she came and she was able to go and come. Director, yeah, it's just a visitor, please. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. It's not a visitor. They have an opinion, the channel is opinion.
What's your name? No test. Alpha Saidu. Are you suspecting that your name was Key?
No. I'm trying to solidify the last certificate to the Ministry of Employment.
Yeah, good afternoon, followers of Unity Broadcasting. We are presently in Parliament, Room 1, beside the proposed ministers, His Excellency President Retired Brigadier General Madabio, and the constitutional power we get, we don't appoint them for different ministries.
Thank you very much.
And here today we have the proposed minister.
No, you don't stand there. All of you. Whether you are a photographer, I don't know who is standing there. Are you journalists? Are you member of the Fourth Estate? Are you? Lean on the wall, please. So thank you very much for coming. Though we have started late, we apologize for any inconvenience that we have caused. And also, we want to remind our members of the Fourth Estate. Are you here? We take this opportunity to recognize you. Members of the Fourth Estate, are you here with us?
Yes, sir.
To the social media, I'm talking about those who are accredited and serve in Parliament. I welcome you all, but let me quickly remind you before addressing my nominee. Let me quickly remind you about the provisions we have. I will keep on reminding you because I don't want you to go out of context. I want to remind you about SO 75, premature publication. If you have anything to publish before the plenary, you make sure you contact the clerk's office. If you think they cannot talk to you or you cannot address your issue appropriately, make sure you come to my office. My office is always open to you so that we can discuss issues of relevance, because if you publish something that is not in line with parliamentary procedures, we'll take the appropriate step. So I just want to remind you about the premature publication, SO 75. I hope that one is clear to all of us. But indeed, I want to recognize you. And thank you very much for what you have been doing for the 5th Parliament, and also you have just started the 6th Parliament. Thank you very much. We continue to collaborate and enhance professionalism in the practice of journalism. Mr. Colleagues and presidential nominees, I want to draw attention to quick provisions. First, because we have the MDAs with us now, I realize that President appointed you all on the same day, some of you, together with the ministers. But there are rules that we need to follow. And one of our functions is to follow the oversight from the responsibility of the members of Parliament. So at this point, we want to start understanding ourselves as we started the first set of meetings for the interview. We said we want to enhance some ground rules before we move on as Parliament with that of the executive. one is to understand how to support one another. That's why we said, if we have been doing things, not trying to help the ministers and do things differently, it's over. We now start to synergize properly to help this government in a more positive way. So we have some provisions that we'd like to bring to your attention. First, we drew attention to Section 58, subsection 1, which I can call a clerk to read that provision. Why some of you are still in office and we are here for interview. So we want to clear that particular aspect of your thoughts, that we are interviewing based on constitutional provision. And that is a responsibility. Can you read that provision for me? Just 58.1. Just 58.1.
Section 58, subsection 1. The office of a minister or a deputy minister shall become vacant, A, on the expiration of the term of office of the president, or B, if his appointment is revoked by the president.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is good to answer you. We all know that the Constitution is not known. Any other law is subject to the Constitution. The Constitution takes primacy over that. So that is why we are doing our interview. This is the new set of administration under President Buhari. I want to draw your attention because I said entirely in my statement, we are doing interview together with the MDAs. We have had in the 5th Parliament series of problems, MD appointed by the President, and sometimes there are difficulties. Difficulties which MPs know, and even with the executive. So, luckily for us, we have some strategic members who are coming from the NDA. So, we'd like them to understand the role of the minister is in the Constitution. Can you read Section 62 of the 1991 Constitution for us, please?
Section 62, where any minister has been charged with the responsibility for any department of government, he shall exercise general direction and control over the department, and subject to such direction and control, the department shall be under the supervision of a permanent secretary, whose office shall be a public office.
Thank you very much. I think that was very clear in the Constitution. We are trying to create a clear pathway between the ministers, part of the executive, and other departments under the supervision of the ministry. And the minister is purely in charge. So we have been saying it in chambers, so we have decided to remind you, just as what we have done for the office of the deputy minister and the ministers. So we have extended that one, telling you about the powers of the minister appointed and approved by Parliament. How do you collaborate with other MDs? We have seen where MDs find it difficult to collaborate with the minister. So we are not saying, looking at the provision you have in the Constitution, and you are coming here for interview. Most times you get to know based on oversight responsibilities. So we really want you to look at that, and that is constitutional provision. Even if you go to the executive arm, there in the meeting, it's very clear in the Constitution. That is why we have the ministers, deputies, we have departments under the ministry, and the permanent secretary is the head of the administration. I know some of you are very familiar because you have a continuing minister in that particular direction. The last one I would like to mention is talking about how do we, for example, those who are dealing with the 5 major pillars of this administration. We call them the big 5. In the last parliament, as we told the chief minister, he was the only one who came for question time in parliament. Because what we are talking to is because we are presenting new to our colleagues. So we want our colleagues to understand that these ministers can be approved and they are willing to work with us, willing to work with their colleagues, willing to work with all of our sectors we have in society, policy running. So can you read for me questions to Minister SO19, please?
Standing orders 19. Questions to ministers. nature of questions. Questions may be put to ministers relating to public affairs for which they are charged with the responsibility, proceedings pending in Parliament, or any other matter of administration for which sub-ministers are responsible.
Yeah, thank you very much for those questions to ministers. So in this interview today, after giving you all of the legal processes and what we are intending to do and what is your responsibility as minister, and how do you intend to collaborate with your deputies or your MDAs, that's why we have cited those provisions. For us on this panel, our business is really to interview. We have not set this panel to embarrass anybody. This panel is purely to see how best we can present you to the public. And this is a public hearing. We have questions. Those questions, we are all called for whether we can accept them to ask those questions or reject them. That is the view of the public. And sometimes, also when you face us, we ask you critical questions. You are not really compelled to ask them. But you can sound convincing that if you can answer the question, so be it. So we cannot compel you to answer those questions. But we can ask you questions for you to answer. Questions are purely within your limits, the ministry, and that has to do with your form. But that has to do with general governance relating to your own ministry. So I crave your indulgence that whilst you come for the interview, feel free and also stick to what you know, because you are going to be under oath. You know the implications when you give false statement on oath. So we don't want any of you to fall victim of such. So we talk to you at this point that this panel has been set up to embarrass any opponent. But it's set up basically to see how best we can understand. Sometimes the discussion, the interview can be very interesting. It can be very educative. Sometimes you have something to tell us, and we also have something to tell you. Sometimes we can go on and on because of the interaction. So when we call upon you, it's for you to make yourself just within the context of what you are here, not beyond the context. Maybe you be tempted to see something that in fact is not, you implicate yourself. It has happened, and some people are refused. They said, okay, that's what you have said. We cannot approve you. You can call you all the time, and it has happened. So please, I am the chair. I have the right to overrule my colleagues. Or also, they will not ask questions at an radio. They will not do that. We will try to manage the process. I will try to see how best you also can interact with us. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope that after the whole process, all of us will be happy and we can present the other step to the plenary for approval. Thank you very much. As I said, I don't want to see people standing at the back. If you don't have seats, we are already concerned about the nominees. If you really don't have seats, don't come in. If you cannot sit really, leave us, please. I want that one to happen before I ask the ministers to leave. But it doesn't matter. They have asked of them generally, they say they are around. They are on the other side of the hall. I said, don't stand. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Director. Don't take them to the donor here. Take them to the members' lounge. I will do that. Don't take them here. It's not meant for the ministers. No, it's only meant for the class to sit. Take them right to the members' lounge. Take the appointees to the members' lounge. Tell them. Thank you. Enforce the law. And make sure if they stay too long, give them water. Because we are out there. We are very friendly people here. He come to this committee. All right, thank you very much. As I said, feel free to interact with us. We'll call you very soon. We now start with Mr. Matai, the proposed Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources. The other ministers, please, Mr. Director, lead them safu to the members. Thank you for coming. Very well, you love us. Good for you.
Just be the good boy that we know before.
Good morning. Now for go out there again. We just never. So what Magole Fenas? Now something. Family is still the Parliament in one. These ministers, His Excellency President retired Brigadier James Maravilla appoint, and then they come to Parliament procedures. As that from my law say, anybody with an appointment to come and take oath of office after oath of office, they can question. This is not the procedure presently in the House of Parliament.
It's now Unity Broadcasting as the interview they can start now with the proposed Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Mr. Matthias.
It was everything until the man came. No, I don't pause it. You can't give more pictures.
Alpha. Thank you. I need to understand that you are live. I don't know if you have started. Okay. So colleagues, we put us live. For now, we are only live on Facebook. At the moment, that's from Faculty of Parliament. Thank you very much, parliamentary staff, during the media. Colleagues, we have in front of us the proposed Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources. What's your name, sir? Are you taking the oath? All right, so just keep the hold on. Hold on, please. Sharif.
Voice the other.
All right. Thank you very much.
May I ask that either you switch off your mobile phones or you put them on vibration? Thank you.
Don't close that. You have not taken a vote yet, so I cannot accept you to at the moment. I stand you down for reasons which I will talk to you in your office. So I will come back to you, sir. So you're not going to put your name. Yeah. So we call it. So you have to meet me at the office. All right, thank you. All right. So can I colleagues and you have talk to you that you talk to you, no problem. You talk to me back. So can we get where's the list? Can we get a minister of labor to come? Yes. Open minister of labor, sorry. All right. Where is the? We have a comprehensive list for the proposed ministers. Mr. Tsunga, bring me a list, please. We have the comprehensive list for the nominees. Are you sure we are giving us a document for the proposed minister of labor? Do you have a document? That's right. I understand the others should give you the power. Director, you don't have to have it. Yes. Some people have, some don't have.
All I understand, but they were placed in all the areas.
Just stick your time.
We took our time. Except,
So I give you a few minutes to look at the document. Please. What is in it?
Minister, do you have your opinion?
Charles, are you here?
You also you don't have the original document.
Charles, are you here? Yes, I should do my back. Thank you very much.
You're looking for it.
Let me. See, we are working on some documents.
You have your phone now. You have your phone, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your name?
Mohammed Rahman, sorry, sir.
You have no photograph on your phone. That's what I was looking for. No photograph. And your police, all of them, you don't have photograph. You have. You don't have photograph. Can you read for us the?
Please. Can I ask?
I thought you have done that. Okay, sorry. I missed that. Sorry.
Could you please rise? Are you a Muslim or a Christian? Repeat after me, please.
I, Mohammed Rahman, sorry,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee
before this committee
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and
and nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, please sit.
Thank you. Mr. Minister, yes, you have a photograph, that is all. Where's your business? Where's your business? What is your business? Okay.
Yes, I'm fine.
I'm confused you. Go on. Take out your phone. No, it's not you having it, it's we not having it.
Excuse me, sir. With your leave, sir, can I talk to the director, sir? You wanted to give me a spare hour. Are you still inclined to so do?
That's not something. Except with the approval of the chair.
Mr. Proposed Minister, you intend to take the interview or you want to go on the corrections before we start?
I'm quite happy to do the interview.
Okay. How you do the corrections?
Immediately after.
in the next
Okay, so let's
30 or so
yeah,
minutes.
let us proceed. Okay, we should not waste time. We are going to do asset declaration.
Yes.
So we don't really want to see inconsistency within the introduction. And for you, we already, when you want to talk to the nominee here, you go through the clerk's office, please.
Quite sorry.
Have you want us to do that? You can call me. Mr. Proposed Minister,
Yes, sir.
we have some of you have a document when you are a previous minister for information communications.
Yes, sir.
So we don't want to have a mismatch in your document. So one, you have the presentation of the photo.
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you, Papi. Just can you just read for us the sentence below your photograph box?
Which of the photos? Which of the
You
documents?
want the form. You take out the form first. No, there is no form there.
It's going to help me.
Okay, you can give me one.
Actually, I can get it.
No. Give me one. Okay, direct him what to do.
Canvassing of members of the committee is strictly forbidden. Is that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Read it again. I don't hear it.
Canvassing of members of the committee is strictly forbidden.
You know you have a canvassing me, right? I propose minister. I think that we canvassing people in this place.
But we'll canvass for you in Canada, so that's okay.
And the reason why we asked you to read is because you have been the former Minister of Information and Communications, and you realize that in that office we are trying to charge a lot of government issues that has to do with corruption specifically, and Parliament we are not beyond problem when it comes to corruption or under the law. So we try on with it because perceptions can be a reality if you don't react to it. So what you have done is to talk to the nominees family. Those provisions they can read and we ask them. But it's a public hearing. You have canvas, you have friends. Let me ask you a genuine question. You know people on this panel?
I know everybody on that panel.
Yeah, good.
Including the good self.
Good. In what capacity, sir?
Yes.
Knowing us in what capacity?
Both in your private and official capacities.
Has
As
it been
members of the same party.
in private? Has it been anything to do with your nomination?
There's no need for that, Mr. Chairman. You, like you mentioned yourself, His Excellency appointed people who, in his opinion, are made of the right timber and caliber.
All right.
Right. So I hope I'm able to take that office.
Thank
I
you.
have the precedent for 5 years.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we have we did not see your balance. Can you just direct us to your balance? We want it to be consistent with what you put in the form. You don't need to read the balance, please. Just direct us. Just direct us. If you can't see, just say you can't. You gave us your balance in page 1. Look at your form, but there's no figure giving us, and we are.
There's actually an attachment.
Yeah, you should have just.
Statement.
If I just
Okay, so that's easy to do. Bank statement is attached. I'll do that. As it pleases this company.
no, you should state your balance statement. But that's the reason you have in the column. You have loans and cents.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so is GTCO?
Second.
GTCO is a bank statement, right?
Yes, that is it.
Okay.
That's it.
Is the balance we have here starting with that 2?
Yes, that is it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody is now privy to what balance is.
That has been a normal case. Even your previous balance before you approve it to the Minister of Information and Communication, we have it too.
I
We
hear
have
you.
all of your statements.
I hear you, sir.
Okay. But that's purely for the consumption of Parliament and committees specifically.
Alright, I'm okay. I start piloting the data protection and privacy law.
request document as per section 93.
No way my request has been granted.
All right. So there's the balance share. Everything.
Yes, I'll write it there.
What you said at the time of filling, you have what? Go back to question 2. Next page.
Question 2, where? Which of the documents?
4.
Question 2. Yes, sir.
Is that?
Mm-hmm.
You have it.
Yes.
You have it now.
That's at hand, not on me, sir.
You still have it.
Well, at the time of filling the document, I had that.
What do you mean by any?
Not available. Any not available.
So you have to spell out and very clearly. Colleagues, I think that is will allow the minister to proceed with our question. There's too much issues we have with your form. There is another one that has to do with particulars of all properties. Mr. Minister, Mr. Proposed Minister, previous judges, please, with your good office, please when you go back to do it properly, because you know this has to be in line with the asset declaration form. If you look at it, it's not properly given to us, and this document is not really in proper order. I can understand you are all coming from some election mood and also other issues. So, colleagues, we forget about the form which he has to redo before we present him to the plenary. Let's proceed with the interview as you agree. I now open the floor to my colleagues to ask you questions. Dear Minister of Labour, any question? Honorable Bashiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
There will be some things in our questions so that we can move on fast.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Suare, Minister of Labour and Employment, right?
Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security.
Yeah, the Minister of Labour and Employment. Mr. Suare, let's go to your is it the figures are very really just
a new minister.
As a parliament, we are deliberate. When you came to this parliament, when you were nominated by the position of Minister of Information and Communication, we gave you the same form because we want to know what you took to the office and when you are leaving or you are leaving. Today, once again, for us, with the same form, if you look at the particulars, properties, you've not showed us the value of the property.
I'm not sure which of the documents you have.
17. I just want to remind you, you've not showed us the value of the property.
Mr. Minister proposed, you don't worry about it, this you have to do. As I said, he just said, don't worry about it, we are just saying we have your previous document. And you have to do asset declaration for anti-corruption, whether you like it or not, you have to buy law. And we have this one. Instead we do. Said after you ask another question.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Sorry, you are going to a ministry that is going to be responsible for employment. And Sierra Leoneans of late, the method of employment into office is not correlated. You go to one ministry, somebody is in employment, you go to one of our departments. Long before now, all employment, most employment for governors was done by the Ministry of Labour. Are you thinking of doing the same so that we have a system in which the Ministry of Labour will be viable to provide opportunities for them?
Thank you very much. This is a huge task. His Excellency in the consolidating gains and accelerating transformation, which is the second generation of the People's Manifesto has clearly indicated. He wants to provide 500,000 jobs by the time he leaves office in 5 years' time. So, by breakdown, that means every year he has to create 500,000 jobs. 100,000. Yeah, thank you. So, we will require a multi-sectoral approach to do that. Governments are decentralizing every day. It is not my wish to bring back all employment to the Ministry of Labour. I will work with the necessary ministry departments and agencies to ensure that we do that. Already we are working on a blueprint. We want to have in place a proper labor management information system so that you can stay in Kenema, you could stay in Kwendu, you could stay in Palaba, wherever you are, to be able to apply for an advertised government job. So we encourage ministries, departments, and agencies to advertise opportunities as and when they arise. But there is no appetite on my part to re-centralize, and otherwise decentralize employment. Okay.
Mr. Minister, if you go to the social media, you will see that most Sierra Leoneans are out of this country, especially the Middle East. There are people who come here, they employ Sierra Leoneans, and most of these workers come through the Ministry of Labour. And when they go, the purpose of they were recruited for, when they get to the Middle East, they most times use them as slaves or sex slaves. So how are you going to make sure that we have a system in place in order to divert some of these anomalies?
Also, my colleague and predecessor, Honorable Hal Fatimbo, has done a brilliant job on that. He has been able to enact quite a couple of very frame-breaking legislations in the labor industrial relations sphere. I'm also aware that there is the Transfer to Transform program, by which Sierra Leoneans can use legitimate channels to seek opportunities abroad. There is a national migration policy, which this House was gracious enough to enact. So you have all of these instruments. We will, and I enjoy Parliament to join me, civil society and the media here present, to reach out, to raise awareness about the dangers of illegal migration, right? We know everybody's seeking greener pastures, everybody's looking for, viable livelihoods, sustainable livelihood opportunities. But the danger, I have seen Sierra Leoneans and other Africans drown in the Mediterranean trying to cross in pursuit of greener pastures. So it behoves us as a country, as a responsible leadership, to ensure that we take the message to every nook and cranny. Our people need jobs, they need opportunities, but not dangerous opportunities where they might end up losing lives. In the first inning, His Excellency was in Lebanon. He had to rescue a group of Sierra Leoneans who were going to hell and back. So we want to handle that. Already laws have been enacted to ensure that nobody seizes passports of Sierra Leoneans who travel abroad. We have brought in the closest embassies and related other organizations to ensure that our citizens are not treated as slaves. But bottom line, Sierra Leoneans should use legal and legitimate means to migrate for jobs abroad, rather than taking dangerous acts.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Minister Designate, as former Minister of Information, you've been very economical with information. Provided us so far, but we've given the opportunity to go and give us more information that we need. But let me ask you a simple question. I don't know, honorable members, I don't know if the proposed Minister of Labour was anticipating this appointment, because in the last 6 months I have been seeing very active in making sure that a lot of young guys around this country, more so Pujong and other areas, get jobs. So I want to know if you were anticipating this appointment.
Please answer.
Oh, that's the rule?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Congratulations on your appointment. Like you mentioned, this house in the last parliament passed a lot of legislation on labor-related issues. And I'm sure there are laws or policies around jobs for Sierra Leoneans, particularly the jobs which Sierra Leoneans can do. We don't expect foreigners, be it private investments or private companies, to bring foreigners to do these jobs. But as we speak, they are happening. You can even see in their shops, you see shopkeepers who are non-Sierra Leoneans. So, if approved by this House, how do we implement these laws to ensure that our Sierra Leonean companies get the required jobs? Thank you.
Thank you very much. In my previous life, before I got into politics, I was an organizational development and human resources specialist with a career spanning over 10 years at the Airport Authority, where I was in executive leadership. From there, when I was sacked in 2009, courtesy of bad governance, I moved on to African Minerals, where I was the HR person on site. I literally managed that transition from exploration to mining. From there, I have been to Liberia. But bottom line, this is quite a serious situation. In some of these places where I worked, in the African Minerals, for example, there was a time they wanted to bring in drivers for articulated vehicles and some of those, machinery they require in mines. I stood my grounds and insisted you have Sierra Leoneans who do those jobs. In the end, we opened up a training opportunity for them to upskill them and to prepare them for those jobs. So yes, I have faced those challenges in my previous life, but I have been able to skill that up. At Rutai, where I was training and development superintendent, from where I resigned to go into politics. So I was leading localization efforts, expatriation. You had a lot of experts, but we wanted to localize so that Sierra Leoneans could play more leadership roles in those places. So I've experienced doing this, and it's my passion. When we were putting the New Direction Manifesto together in 2018, I am pleased to inform you that I was one of the authors. So I've always been passionate about this. We are a small country, opportunities are few and far between, so I like Sierra Leoneans, as long as they have the key competencies and job requirements to be given the first opportunity. In the law, it's provided, if you cannot get Sierra Leoneans, you try ECOWAS next, after that you can go further afield. So I am quite prepared to take that on. I will require every inch of the way Parliament support to be able to maneuver through.
With all of this experience, the Honorable was just asking, go to the supermarket, to the shops. You now see Indians doing retail business. You now go to the supermarket, go to Abacha Street, go to all around the city, and even in the provinces. There is this culture that people are now importing Indians to do the works that Sierra Leoneans should do. So how will you make sure that Sierra Leoneans, these people, use to retail?
So this is not going to be a job I can do alone. Parliament has to step in. I remember that's in the Indigenous or Some Trade Act, right? 69, yeah, which bars them from doing that. So it will require collaborative efforts for the Ministry of Trade, probably Internal Affairs, a multi-sectoral approach. This is not, I don't have the magic bullet, but I'm quite happy to collaborate and to work with other partners to make sure this happens. Sierra Leoneans should be protected in jobs for which they are qualified.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Mr. Minister Designate, I want to congratulate you in advance. I have very no doubt in the next 24 hours or so that will be approved. Minister, it is the desire of the President to provide 100,000 jobs. 100,000 jobs a year. It is the desire. They are going to tell us the magic as a principal advisor to the President as far as employment is concerned. You are going to tell this house the magic they are bringing to create these jobs. The last time I checked, as a former chair or house chair of mining, the mining sector provides at least 200,000 jobs for Sierra Leoneans. One of the drawbacks I realized in that particular sector
is the PAE as well as the NACIT of this mine's water. We want to see a fly-by-night, especially in the small scale mining sector. A fly-by-night investor will come, employ, and then a day we just fly over Lunge and we leave all the liabilities for the will-be investor that will take over that particular mining. This is the challenge. Tell us how we tackle the issue of PAE as well as NACIT of our Sierra Leonean brothers.
Yeah. So I understand these challenges have persisted over time. Your record should be a good indication that you can do well in the new role. In the places where I worked, I've insisted that Sierra Leonean workers are treated with the dignity they deserve in their own country. You know, back in London, man, they used to call me Silver Pierre. I stood up for Sierra Leonean workers. There was another guy who used to call him Wallace Johnson. So both of us were always in the trenches to fight for Sierra Leonean employees. And I'm told following my appointment, there was some jubilation in some minds, people I've worked with, who know the passion I have for this kind of thing. So it's criminal, all right? It's criminal not to pay PAYE for employees. After payment of salaries, the NACIT Act says the next thing you must do has to be payment of NACIT. So if employees are not being paid that, those institutions have criminal culpability, and nothing stops the law from prosecuting them. I will stand by, and I hope Parliament too will support us when matters like those come up. Because this is the only place they can have those privileges as Sierra Leoneans. We owe it to them to protect them every inch of the way so that they are able to enjoy the dignity of their decent work.
Thank you. Other members?
Yes.
Mr. Mike.
Thank you very much, Honorable Randall. Then Minister of Information, I've been listening to you mentioning all the areas that you have worked and the important things that you achieved. And also, I had it just now, you said some people were jubilating when they heard of your new nomination. Mine is a concern, and to draw your attention. Now, every youth wants a job. And now, you have said, and we have heard from HA about the employment that is about to make, and thank God you are going to be there. My own take is you pay attention to the youth, the right job, and the attitude. I don't want to say attitude, but attitude of the individual. You know, not the job, the creation because they want the job, because it's your party member, because he's somebody who has been there, but you need to put the right person in the right place. And also to draw your attention again to our ladies, our children that are out there crying. Please, in as much as we have said it, and in as much as we are going to put some modalities in place, but it has happened already. They are already there. Please, we are appealing to you so that can be your first thing on your decks to make sure you bring them back to Sierra Leone and to make sure they are engaged in some activities so that they can be people that we rely on. Please. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Suare. As we all know here, the Mediterranean Sea is the graveyard for Africans. They prefer to die in the Mediterranean Sea than to remain here. And as you know, we have graduates, diploma holders, degree holders. I think that already is a job. So, how can you come on board to bring these graduates? But there's no way the government can give jobs to all these people. It's not possible. They can come together, like engineers can come together, economists, those who do business administrations can come together
create jobs for themselves and then, start moving. So I would like you to actually create a venue where you can call these graduates together, nurses as well, to create jobs for themselves, because they have already created a job by having all these degrees, by having all these diplomas. So that we can help the government get, that kind of freedom of, looking for jobs for them. I know I've been to different countries. These are graduates, like computer, analysts. They come together and create jobs for themselves. You see? So push them in that direction. I would like you actually to sit down and think about it and see how best we can start, introducing that in this country. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Kamala, Mr. Proposed Minister, Mr. Swale, thank you very much and congratulations in advance. My own question here is, we know we have the Big Five, and one of the pillars of the Big Five is capacity building, human resource development. Now, we have the government in the past 5 years re-established or even strengthened the GTIs, the Government Trade Institute, for the middle manpower, which we think over the years, Sierra Leonean, we really lack the middle manpower that has self-job creation. Now, we have these GTIs, and a lot of young people are going in these GTIs in different districts. For example, I remember in my last tenure, I supported up to 60 young women and men, young youths, who went to the GTI in Kono, and out of that 60, I think only 25 graduated, and 3 of them are now in one of the mining companies on the job training. And I think if we are able to cater for these people, it's good. So how would you be able to link these graduates from the GTIs, this middle manpower that have learned skills, to put them into these different institutions that need them, that need their expertise? How would you manage that? Because to just train them in these GTIs and they graduate, they just loaf around, will not help the situation. The others would they will say, there is no need to go through this training because there is no job. So how would you help these graduates from the GTIs to be able to go into different skills in different companies? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable here. His Excellency has described youth unemployment as a ticking time bomb, as area and present danger that we need to address roots and shoots. Some members here have alluded to culture change, right? We have a youth generation that we need to align, with winning ways. In the current generation of the manifesto, he has indicated will create 500,000 jobs. Many have asked where are those jobs going to come from. Agriculture and the entire value chain will employ people. We're also ensuring, before I left the Ministry of Information, there's a $50 million grant there. One of the key components of that is to train young people, improve digital literacy amongst young people and marginalized groups, women and disabled. So there's already a fund there, and I know the new Minister of Communications will run with that. There is also an agenda to ensure that we organize these youth groups, give them some seed capital so that they can start their own businesses, become employers and entrepreneurs, right? That is why this job creation is a special presidential initiative. When the presidency drives it, nobody will ask our political will. Because this is a national security threat, he wants to be able to tackle it. So yes, we're going to improve the youth employment scheme. We're going to improve internship arrangements where people will go to these places, acquire skills. Because one of the things that have left young people scoring for jobs for long years is the experience requirement. Do you have X number of years of experience? But the internship is going to afford them that opportunity to acquire experience as soon as they leave the university or textbooks or while they are in their final year.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Honorable.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Minister, I want to congratulate you on your proposed appointment. I've worked with you, and I know how efficient you are, how detailed you are, and how clear you are with responsibilities. Well, during the campaign, I was chairman for the PR committee, and we worked together. Mr. Minister Designate, I think most of the attention is on job creation. And for me, what I think we should first prioritize is job recovery. If you look at the Local Content Agency Act, you will realize that what we have out there as jobs that are managed and being done by other people could create a big difference. I can give you an example. If you go to the construction sector, you will realize that a company like CSC, every single one of their expatriate or middle management staff, they are Senegalese, and that is against the law. If you go to other companies in the construction sector, you will realize that we have a lot of jobs that can be managed by Sierra Leoneans, that can be handled by Sierra Leoneans, that are in the hands of other people. So, as you go into the ministry, I know how detailed you are. I would want to encourage that you commission a job census so that we know what we can create in the short term. The next thing is the issue of salary, payment of PAYE, as well as institutions, especially institutions in the security sectors, these security companies, janitorial companies, and to the dismay of many, even journalists, radio stations, print and electronic media, they are paying their people below the minimum approved government wage. That should be a concern I would want you to take to the ministry. And like you have said repeatedly, we as Parliament, we are here to help because it is the priority of the President. Once more, I congratulate you and I wish you good luck.
Take note, Mr. Minister.
Yes.
Mr. Minister, I knew if President Bio was going to choose one person, it was going to be you. Yes, I know. Based on your track record, Mr. Minister. Now we are going,
Mr. Minister.
Yes, sir.
Please.
I was taking notes. Even I just came from the digital ministry.
No, just on the table. If you want, you can give the tablets. You are very high level technologists in Parliament. We don't want people immediately you're live, so we don't want people to see us if you intervene on your phone.
I have good news for Parliament, and you know.
We are going live under your administration.
No, beyond that, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Of this $50 billion, Parliament is going to be fully digitized, so you don't have to individual ask people to
Honor your proposal ministry.
No, this is money that's already here. I remember we have been engaging.
Okay, the one.
Yes, the Ministry of Communications.
Tell us something. Don't say something. How Parliament goes to the No, Mr. Minister, you have just dropped something.
Yeah.
How Parliament goes to the
You know, Parliament is trying very hard in terms of the legislations you have enacted, quite very progressive. But in many other areas, Parliament is still yet to grow and catch up with
on comparative basis.
On comparative basis.
Yeah.
You know, coming to this Parliament, Let me come, sir.
No, sir, wait. From quality basis, we are the sub-region or the Western world.
Well, you know, we are punching above our weight. We don't compare ourselves to sub-region.
Because we are rated one of the best in the sub-region.
That's what I'm saying. So we don't do sub-region. It's a global model I'm talking. You know, we have worked so hard. We are punching above our weight now. So we compare ourselves to the top tier league. But like I was now saying, of these resources, the $50 million, Parliament is going to be fully digitized so that future appointees and nominees will not be asked to bring 17 copies of every document. You will sit from your wherever.
Mr. Minister,
we want to support you.
Thank you. No, Mr. Minister, hold it there. Mr. Minister, have you looked at our website? Have you looked at our website?
It's one of the most progressive websites.
Our appointment committee is there. Yeah. We refuse not to roll it out deliberately because your colleagues are having problems with it. I can tell you for free. Let me tell you. We had a training already. We have our tablets. We are very progressive.
We have been in touch with.
Yes, we have been talking about. I want to say thanks to you because when you are here, as Minister of Information and Communications, we collaborate on so many fronts.
And I'm grateful.
And one set front is to make Parliament fully digitalized and go paperless. So that's why we went to Tallinn and other places. Yeah, so we're on that. If you look at our website, just look at the bar, don't look at the notes here. You can see where we have appointment committee, and all of these forms are there. So when we started, I said we are moving to what I told yesterday for OCM. And they said, oh, that's good. If I saw they got the form from the website. So, yes, you're fine. So I wanted the appointee to submit through the website. But unfortunately, that we had the head of department advised that let's not do that at the moment, and we have this copy. When you come next to Parliament, if God is willing, you pass through the appointments and the plenary. You will see where we are now talking about purely paperless Parliament. But for now, we thank you and Yahweh. There's the chairman. Sorry for the people that proceed. It's $50 million.
I know. The money is there already. As I said earlier on, if we are going to vote for being the best minister, it's you. Going to the Ministry of Employment and Labor, I want you to know one thing, that we have passed the minimum wage laws here in this country. And I want to remind you that there are still people out there who still work under the minimum wage. Still. So if you take over that ministry, please do something about that. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's all. Congratulations.
Mr. Minister. Mr. Minister, please look at your bank statements and review of it. Please look at the bank statements and review.
Don't like the bottom line. It's not reassuring, right?
Please, you can go, Mr. Minister.
Thank you very much.
Please,
thank you very much.
You can see the action videos. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
The leader of government is a very for the
The designated Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security, just on completing interview. This is Unity Broadcasting. We continue for viewing as we call another minister soon for can take your interview.
Can we have you move fast, please? Can we move out?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Can we move fast?
I'm not jealous. We are here for the interview. Mr. Minister, Mr. Sorry.
Thank you very much. So what's your name, ma'am?
My name is Kenya Laura Bale.
You are welcome with you.
Yes, I
Why are you so slow with you? I know slow. Why? What's happening?
Are you a Muslim or a Christian?
I'm a Christian.
I'm a Christian. Right? And repeat after me. I, full name,
Kenya Laura Bale,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee
shall be the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Please sit.
Madam Kenya Laura Bale.
That's my name.
Development consultant. Can you read it? Can you read it?
Previously the Executive Director for African Development Bank.
That was a recent position.
Yes.
The immediate past position.
Immediate past. Representing Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana, Gambia, and Sudan.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I'm a proposed minister. A proposed minister
for planning and economic development.
Development experts.
Yes.
Okay, can you quickly read the text below your photograph? Take your phone. Yes. Is it clear for you?
Yes. Oh, canvassing of members of the committee is strictly forbidden.
Do you know anybody on the panel?
I know Honorable Veronica Sise, but I'm only just seeing her for the past 5 years. I haven't seen her.
Who next?
Chairman, I met you briefly.
Yeah, I know, right?
Chairman, I met you briefly.
Mr. Kaisamba, Honorable Kaisamba,
Alright, thank you.
Yes.
So you're being honest to tell us that you know someone.
Okay.
Has it been a private based on your appointment or just a familiarization?
No, it's just a familiarization.
Thank you very much. We need to hear from you, say you're a development expert, and you know the pillars that the government proposed in the last administration that has to do with development.
Yes.
And looking at all the structure that you have said.
Yes.
Briefly tell us what you're doing with them.
Well, first of all, the pillars are the 5 game changers, as we know. Feed Sell Young, which is boosting agriculture. And also we have human development, which is a continuation of the former clusters and the priorities of the SLPP. The third one is the youth employment scheme. The fourth one is restructuring the government architecture. And the fifth one is technical and infrastructure development, technology and infrastructure development. So within these 5 pillars, moving forward, what we need to do is come up with a national development plan, complete and evaluate the current development plan. And then we come up with a development plan that encompasses these 5 pillars to move our economy forward in a more dynamic and proactive manner. And as Minister, I will propose that it just not be the national planning architecture, but we go down to the district level and also the chiefdom level. But everything within the game-changing pillars will pivot around the boosting agriculture to improve the economy.
Thank you. I think you have said it all within the context of the 5 game changers, and also you are not working outside those pillars that you have just highlighted. And your resume is very interesting. You have been developed expert. You have been proud of working.
Yes. So I was looking at my CV, and it's nearly 40 years.
Yes. I have read it, and sometimes your name is very familiar.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, you have made history for yourself. And tell me one thing. How do you feel about having women in the cabinet? Because in those days, when you talk about women in governance and administration, a few, if anybody is, a few of them you call with their fingers. And we are seeing a lot of women coming on board. And looking at the position you have given, you are supposed to assume office based on your appointment and development. What's your take on having women as your stature?
I have always advocated for gender inclusion. Very often, I've been the only woman in the room and have been referred to as a gentleman or dear sir. But throughout, if you look at CV as well, I have been advocating for gender, and I'm very pleased that we have more women on the cabinet, because you will see that in other countries, and Rwanda, for example, that development pace is much faster if you have females. So I've been advocating for the 30%. I've always been a supporter of 50-50, but if I can be a bit flippant, I also feel that maybe it should be 60-40 in favor of women. So no, you said what I tell my colleague?
Yes,
women?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about those who are going to, if you have approved when you are in cabinet.
Okay.
See,
the women.
How can you present you proud if you are approved when you're in cabinet meeting? What would be your first statement in favor of women when you meet President Bill? What do you tell President Bill?
I would tell President Bill that this is now going to be an inclusive planning agenda, with women not at the forefront just as the beneficiaries, but women as actors, activists, and main players in our development agenda.
I trust you on that. I trust you that you can carry to promote the program of women. I trust you in the development pillars. Women can be the fundamental pillars of what you are going to roll out. So because of that, I have known you not because you have read your CV, but on a practical ground as ADB and other places. After the war, we are very instrumental in developing Sierra Leone. So for the sacrifices that you did for Sierra Leone, and the only women at that time, one of the women that you can rely on, we want to have the change, we want to have the progressive Sierra Leone where you can see things happening in a more rapid form. I now, as a chairman, I will let you. Thank you very much for coming. I really then stop the women not to ask questions. Can we have the Minister of Mines to come again?
Congratulations.
Minister of Mines. Are you much better now?
I'm still struggling with the voice.
Well, I managed to progress. Can you give me time for time?
Hi. Julius Daniel Matza. Those who in Israel. That the evidence I shall give for this committee shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I can.
Samantha. How are you doing?
I'm okay, just as
we want to sympathize with you. You're not feeling right. We ask, it's an appeal, and you do interview immediately so that you can get something done. Always another administrative things that you have to address. What is your name? Who is the full name?
Julius Daniel Matai.
Are you in better position to take the interview now?
Yes, I do.
Can you take that your forms?
Which one of the forms?
You want all of your documents, just put it in front of you. It's okay. Start with the one that is the vetting form. When you're ready, let me know. Back them, and when you're ready, let me know.
Melissa.
Okay. I'll put your photograph. There's a text. Can you read that text for us?
Beneath?
Yeah, below your photograph, there's a text. Can you read that text for us?
Canvassing of members of the committee strictly for beginning.
You canvass anybody before coming here, sir?
No, sir.
You know anybody on this panel?
I do not know members who were introduced.
You gave us extensive breakdown of your account. You are not going to read the balance anyway. Okay. I just want you to direct honorable members. What please can we get some of them?
Starting from page 1.
Yes. First, you don't read the figures. Just leave it like that. You say UBA and you give the figure. Right?
UBA is really limited.
Okay. Direct us to the balance sheet here we gave us. Just if we just call the first figure. Colleagues, I just want you to go quickly, please. We have the summary on the first page is 3-1.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one.
Okay.
Santander UK, London.
Hold on, just go a bit. Is the
This one.
Santander?
Yes.
Okay, the second one. Okay. All right. But it's not really. It's not all. It's not all, guys. Hold on. Yes, go ahead.
This is a business account rather than the account of Mr. Mutai.
This is Mutai. I can tell you why.
Sorry, Mr. Mutai. This is a business account.
This is my business account. Yes, Mutai.
But you should have stated it.
Well, it's stated, yes.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It says, as a sole proprietor.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's stated as business.
Okay.
Is there?
Okay.
Just look at business.standard.
That's correct.
.co.uk. Let's go to the next one. We don't want to be consistent. The reason why we are doing it, you have to fill the anti-corruption form. You know that?
Yes,
As a
sir.
declaration.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us the next one?
You have TSB UK.
Yes, TSB UK. Is the next form?
That's this one.
No, hold on. Is it TSB UK we are looking for? Okay, TSB UK. Again, you don't summarize the balance. You give the agreed balance.
Yeah.
So we ask if allowed that you do the correction. It's just a little bit of different.
The balance is given.
Yes, but the one that you typed out is different.
Less than what is there.
Yeah, you should not. You should not round it up. You left out some figures. You can see 2023 -07-21. Is that's one you give us?
Yes.
And you're supposed to give us the recent for 2023. Were you unable to get a statement for 2023?
That's July 2023. That's July 2021.
Go back.
That's July 21.
Okay, July 21.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. All right. I was reading it very back. Okay. So that's what I said. You rounded it up.
Yes.
So you just read correct. You type them out.
Yeah.
You type them out. So you just. Okay, for that. And we have concern for anti-money laundering. Maybe you should have given us. It's too huge.
Yes, I have a
for if you look at the laws, cannot accept to get that type of. When you convert it.
Yeah, but that's because it's a withdrawn to and build a road in my community. And,
okay, you're on the construction.
Yes.
So at that moment you are filling the form. You had it.
Yes.
But you don't have it now. You have
I can say something to write it.
Oh yeah.
No.
You have no.
Anyone you have. Some of them.
No, right. You have it.
Have you?
Don't mind sharing it.
Give it to me.
Alright, okay. Alright. So the other one is you managed to really see most of the aspects of the form, which I really impressed. And also you are detailed in your particulars of all properties. You are very detailed.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you for that. But as I said, in few corrections and reviewing your particulars of all properties,
yes,
you have a genuine review of it before we can do the final finding. So can you do that?
Can you be answering, please?
You have done. There are some errors that we need to correct, which you have accepted. Your balance on your account.
Yes, but
you summarize there. No, from what you have is different from what you typed.
Which specific?
Okay, let's go back.
Go to TSB.
The TSB. Go back to TSB and go back to your text. Under the TSB UK London, personal current GP.
GDP.
Oh yes.
You realize that it's different.
The difference is 14.
That's it.
The difference is 14.
Let's have it go.
Okay.
And if you go into
it's not only
so the UBI account.
Which one of the UBAs?
On the first page of
The first page.
you see the difference.
There are differences with
75%. 75%.
Yes, you
And
know
you
our
have not
reasons.
provided us with the UBA account. You gave us 3 UBA accounts.
Yeah. This one is here. When you look at this one here, it's the picture.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have these other ones.
When you look at the question, if you look at the question you have, it's not summary. Each one, because you shall detail. We don't want people to do it. It's good for you. It's good for you because in asset declaration, we ask all of this that if you don't give them, they have the right through FIU to ask for your detailed bank account. But because we are here, we ask for 6 months. So, we ask for 6 months. So in going through it, people can know that it has been consistent. It's not any money man can get. So we just ask that of course we have the summary.
Okay.
So you don't need to pay all of it. You don't need to have one set. I know for a foreign account, it's difficult for you to get all of this in your for the sake of orderliness and your security and for investigation in the future. It will be good for you to just have it.
That's it.
So Mr. Fatia, let's now go to the night and you have been at enemy for some time now. So what you bring to reform in improving the mining sector? You started to reform, but your power under the ministry was limited to certain areas that has to be by law. And by law, there are some new restrictions before we close the parliament. So we want to know what do we bring to the fore to improve the mineral sector?
As you rightly said, I've been at the NMA now for 4.5 years. The NMA being the technical wing of the mining Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. It means we are there as a tool to be used by the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. Okay. All right. I said the National Minerals Agency was actually set up to be the supporting technical and professional wing of the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources to support everything that happens in the mineral sector. I've been at the helm of that institution for 4.5 years. During that period, what I have done, yes, as a technical head, is to make sure we institutionalize and systemize things that will actually bring some amount of transparency, accountability, and actually efficiency in how the sector is governed. One of the challenges have been, trying to really understand the difference between the roles the ministry is supposed to be playing and the NMA, which means the NMA was set up as a technical wing to support the ministry, and the ministry as a policy wing to formulate policies to be implemented by the NMA. And over the years, with all the challenges and opportunities we faced, I think there is a bit of maturity now because we've established systems as a nation that are to support the ministry. Going to the ministry, which is the political wing and the policy formulation, it means political governance. It's not just working vertically between the NMA and the ministry, but working also horizontally, which means other institutions that do play a key role in the governance of the mining sector.
But it's a vertical relationship that matters much. Remember where we had it here.
Well, as I've just mentioned here, I think a lot of people conflated the role of the NMA and the ministry. The NMA being an agency that was established by an act also has its mandate and its mission. What I think a lot of confusion came in when people really believed that the NMA was a department within the ministry, and that was not the case. Luckily, over the past 5 years I've been there, we've tried to articulate that difference and for people to really understand that those differences are actually supposed to make us stronger. Where there are synergies to build on that, where there are overlaps to ensure we iron that out in a more professional and mature way. And I think that has been done. And I believe that by me going to the ministry, knowing how the agency works, and also not only vertically but horizontally as well.
So horizontally, Parliament will be at the horizontal level.
Well, Parliament is one.
Okay, thank you. Colleagues, we just heard from the proposed Minister of Nigeria, and I now open the floor to my colleagues, and I now give the first person to speak, Honorable Emma Sinamina, for various reasons. After that, I will come to the Deputy One and we ask questions. Honorable Emma Sinamina.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the Committee. Mr. Matai, it cannot be said that President Malabiu has formed progressive laws. The NMA, as well as the New Mines and Minerals Development Act, and I can testify to be pivotal. Before this time, we should be consultants to do all our regulations and laws. To do the homing at the hem of NMA, the power appointed, look for the gaps, and all the lacunas you feel together with your staff. I was commending for that. But he did well. The money World Bank should have been chopped. He said, no, let us reserve it. We can use our own brain. With many workshops and seminars, at the end of the day, we can have one of the most progressive laws in the sub-Sahara. I'm talking on the Mines and Minerals Development Acts. Very impressive. One of the challenges you'll be borrowing with it is this new regulation is now giving 1% first in history to mining communities. I'm a miner, I used to be. I come from mining community. And 1% going to mining communities, that's a big holiday. The question I will put to you, before this time, mining agreements have been 0.001%. They are not bringing on board, under the watch of His Excellency, 1%. Mining communities, how are you going to shoulder this challenge?
Thank you very much. I'm glad that we are part of that consultative process when we are actually developing the Mines and Minerals Development Act. And as much as we have some addiction to this 1%, I do believe our people deserve more than that, especially our communities. When we went around the country to do the consultation, actually we are advocating for 2.5%. The mining companies came in very hard, and there was a bit of negotiation. But again, at the end of the day, it's the House of Parliament that is responsible for passing these legislations. We made suggestions. Nonetheless, it's laudable that we still have 1%. My concern actually is not 1%. It's how we're going to manage it to make sure that the communities actually benefit in a more meaningful way. Let me give you an example beyond just 1%. For the past few years, the Diamond Area Community Development Fund has been stored. The reason being, over the past 10 years, there has not been any transparency or accountability in how it's been dispersed and how the communities have benefited from that. I do believe that's something we should use as a yardstick to learn from. I know as we went around the communities during the consultation, it's a big leap from 0.01% to 1%, but then we need all stakeholders to come on board. The MDAs, because we don't work as an island. The local government has to play its role. The parliamentarians have to play their role. The Ministry of Finance, the NRA. So I think it's a collective and collaborative effort. So I do believe also what is important in the disbursement of this fund is to educate the communities to ensure that this money is put to good use. It's not just the usual project, which is digging wells and digging latrines. They put into something that is more sustainable, because at the end of the day, as much as these companies are providing this money, we have to think that mining is a depletable resource. It will end one day. So we must invest this money in projects that are sustainable beyond. It's not just basically as an alternative livelihood, but to complement what our people are doing in those communities. That when those mining companies do close, those communities are able to sustain themselves in a more meaningful way.
Thank you. How can we ensure that those monies given to the communities are being properly used? What are you planning to roll out? Or what have you done when you are at NMA?
Yes, at NMA we have actually.
So it's a public fund.
Yes.
So it will be directly to consolidated fund. Yes, it's coming from consolidated fund. Taxes, royalties.
No, that's not royalty. The royalties are different.
But you actually remember the 1%.
Yeah, this one is a community
development fund.
It's 1% of the previous gross earning for the previous year, which should go directly to the community. So we have community.
So for proper use, what you have said that you after the mining sector.
Yeah.
To the mining, the minerals should not stay forever. Yeah. So you want them to use that money for community development. Yeah. So how can you ensure that what you have said is in that?
Yeah, what we've been working on and we are hoping to implement is first, we had a very consultative meeting to ensure that each community comes up with a project that is realistic, with very clear inputs, clear activities, clear outputs, outcomes, and impact that will be monitored and evaluated over a period of time by the institutions involved. That's the National Minerals Agency, the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, the local governments and rural development. Again, as I said, with other.
So you see Parliament playing PO.
I mean, if I mentioned that, I said with all the parliamentarians at the start.
Okay,
parliamentarians.
No, thank you. Don't move. Whether you call us or not, we use our oversight. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, exactly. So you took to the next person, Honorable Bashir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Don't mind us. We know you're not feeling well.
Yeah, I'll manage.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mathai, when we are doing the mines, you were here, you had very serious points why some of the powers that was given to the ministry should not be given to the ministry. And you told us the ministry, the enemy technically, and some of these powers that have been taken from them should not be taken from them. Now you are the minister. If you are there on things, whilst at enemy, will you pioneer another way so that we remove these powers again from the ministry and take them back to enemy?
I fully agree. I mean, I have always said in the disposition of our obligations, we have to look beyond individuals. And that's, again, I stand on that same notion at that time when I was saying, when we are crafting the law or making proposals for the law to be improved upon, we have to look at it holistically. And we have to think of posterity. I mean, as you know very well, the position of a minister is not an occupation, actually. So it's as it pleases the president. And these laws have to stand the test of time. We have to look at it in a more holistic way. And I still believe that there are certain powers that we are taking from the NMA to the ministry that in consultation with the executive body, with the legislative body, we need to revisit this to make sure that the sector works effectively and that we do the right things right.
So, Mr. Patai, within the next 6 months, that's minister, will you pioneer an idea that will take back these powers to NMA?
That's my intention, but I will consult the legislative body first.
We are ready, we are okay.
Well, that's
fine. You are very confident that these powers should not be. Are you assured? Because this is not just an appointment committee. This is an appointment and a public order committee. We are going to follow up whatever you are telling us now. We'll follow up when you take over. Are you giving us an assurance that in the next 6 months you'll pioneer a bill taking back these responsibilities to NMA by conviction?
I commit to that. And I also just want to make this one distinction. During my session here, I try to say there's power and there's authority. Some authorities that you are given to the agency by this August body, we are taking away, and we have to make the agency impotent and will not be in the best position to actually support the ministry.
So you are going to make the agency potent?
Oh yes, to support this ministry, and the ministry will be of Vigra.
So you are pro-institution. Pro-institution. I like you very much because you have been very clear on it since day one, and you have kept to that promise that you want to make the institution very viable and let it remain as a professional wing. Following Chairman.
Thank you very much. I worked for that ministry for 12 years, and I know your capacity and your capability. The way I'm suspecting that you're going to handle that ministry. But let me ask you this question: who is Matai?
Matai.
Who is Matai?
wearing his roles Matai as a professional or just as a private person, or as the minister as a Well, this Mr. Matai is somebody who's worked for 32 years. This is my second years of working in various sectors, private, public, in and out of Sierra Leone, technically astute. And I've been in this country, when I returned 12 years ago, I worked 8 years across every sector in this country as a consultant. And that has actually allowed me, not only in terms of knowledge, but also experience, and also in terms of expertise. And the person you have here is this one difficult man. Difficult in the sense that because I do believe professional ethics surmounts everything. For us to do the right things right, it means we must do things in a very objective, non-partisan way, with passion, with dedication, with commitment, and that level of collaboration that will allow us to achieve things. That's what makes Mr. Matai this difficult person, but very productive.
Yeah, that's a difficult person. That's the principle, man. Yeah. I want that this qualified to proceed to the other side. To recognize the Deputy Speaker. The Deputy Speaker is just flank me right. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Parliament, Honorable Singapore. You are welcome, sir. Yeah. And I move on to the left. Tawa, Honorable Tawa.
Thank you very much, Chair. Congratulations, Mr. Julius Matai, on your appointment as Minister Designate for Mines and Mineral Resources. And I am so happy that you have emphatically stated that you still have the appetite to review the Mines and Mineral Act, Mines and Mineral Development Act of 2022. Because principally, you and I know that the mining sector is the breadbasket currently of Sierra Leone. And we are losing a huge chunk of the revenues through concessions. And for most of those concessions that you are granted, they were not granted on the basis of the Mines and Mineral Development Act of 2022. Now, my concern is, what will you do in the review of this act, as well as in tandem with the concession agreement already approved and ratified by this House, to ensure that one, the 30% sales revenue retention that is per law established in Sierra Leone is enhanced? That is one. Number two, how will you use the review of the Mines and Mineral Development Act to ensure that we have revenues that we are already losing through concession back into our consolidated revenue?
Thank you very much, Honorable, for raising that salient point. As you rightly said, the mining sector is supposed to be the backbone of our economy. Over the past decades, for some reason, we've been addicted to the signing of mining lease agreements. I think during my tenure at the NMA, I wrote extensively on that giving discretions is not a bad thing. You're giving concessions, tax breaks. But it has to be done in a more meaningful way so that it doesn't disadvantage the country and its people. It's the arbitrary discretionary concessions that have been given. We know very well the mining companies, when they come, they have the best specialists, the best consultants, the best leader firms. And we normally, unfortunately, act in a very fragmented way. And we end up setting up ad hoc negotiation committees, wherein the key agencies are not talking to each other, and we never actually don't have a template as I speak. So rather, it's normally not led by the Ministry of Mines or the NMA, it's led by the Ministry of Finance or sometimes from the State House. So the companies, as I speak, we have 23 large-scale mining licenses, but only 6 are operational. The largest ones that are contributing are supposed to be contributing to the economy. Sadly, interestingly, most of them have mining lease agreements. And I will name them. The Marapa Mines Limited has a mining lease agreement. Kingo Mining Company has a mining lease agreement. FG Coal has a mining lease agreement. Yorkshire has a mining lease agreement. And it pains me to say some of those discretions that we're given there, they're counterintuitive. But nonetheless, I will point this. Okay, sir.
You know, say you are going to challenge what has been done. Some of them are ratified by Parliament. Under your administration, the license is different by law. Previously, they used to bring it up and challenge that one. And you want that particular argument. For the others, he said, if you want to have the concession based on Section 110 of the Constitution, you come to Parliament. That has to be taxation. For the license agreement, the one that has to be the license, it's called the honor of God.
No, that's license is different from the mining lease agreement.
The mining lease agreement is an argument that if you put in-tax concession through the Ministry of Mines, for example, the Kiwo argument here, that's a different matter also. So I don't want you to go forward as competent. What you have said, I will tell you what you have said is you are going to review. You have agreed that certain power given to your ministry, you have to give approve. You have to reverse those laws. Secondly, you are now looking at how best you can make the ministry more professional, giving powers to the professional and you pull out the policies. Yes.
I think what Honorable Tawa is referring to is slightly different. You are talking about the Mines and Minerals Development Act. He's talking about the mining lease agreements that have been signed with the mining companies. That is a bit different.
No, it's both.
Yeah.
You want to go specifically for the mining lease agreement. So I've cautioned you.
Okay.
Yes. So I said, don't go into that.
Okay, we're not going to ratify.
So now, if you want to talk about is the act I'm not referring to.
Okay.
I don't know, guys.
Well, let me just make this clear.
Yeah, what do you want to make clear?
Yes, sir.
Before you mentioned the Mines and Minerals Development Agreement.
Sorry, sir. Before you come, sir. The MLA is the creature of the act.
No.
I'm coming, sir. The power to grant the MLA by the minister or to discuss the MLA by whatever sector in the ministry is the provision stated in the act. Now, the negotiation and whatever is agreed is based on what the leader of government business has said, that on Section 110 of the Constitution, it is the Ministry of Finance that can come to Parliament for concession. So now, my question was, or my concern was, how are we going to synergize the fact that most of these concessions, these MLAs that we are not granted under the Mines and Mineral Development Act of 2022. And those concessions or those MLAs have given a lot of concessions and we are losing a lot of revenue. That was one. The second was, how are we going to ensure that we retain the 30% revenue proceeds that should come to Sierra Leone for sales of minerals?
That's exactly the clarification I was trying to make. When those MLAs were signed, they were signed under the 2009 Mines and Minerals Act. And in the 2009 Mines and Minerals Act, there's not a single clause or provision for mining lease agreements. I warned against that severally, but again, the Constitution surmounts everything, and it went ahead. During the development of the Mines and Minerals Development Act of 2023, again, I warned severally that probably those mining lease agreements should be delayed until we finally promulgate the 2023 Act. So there's some synergy which we are talking about. At the moment, in some areas, we have actually duplications and overlaps, and some are, again, as I mentioned, the word earlier, counterintuitive, because it makes it extremely difficult to regulate the sector. But nonetheless, in every mining lease agreement, there's an opportunity for both parties to sit down and mutually agree on some of this. That's something where we have to use all our skills, our experience, and what we can show the mining companies that have been given this mining lease agreement to make sure it's done from a win-win perspective. And in terms of the 30%, again, there have been provisions in there. If you look at the Public Finance Management Act, there was actually, I think, for Section 79, talking about this Transformation and Development Fund, the Stabilization Fund, and Intergenerational Fund, but that has never actually been practicalized. So there's an opportunity now to synergize all this act and the Finance Act and all stuff to make sure that the sector benefits. I think that's one of the tasks I'm actually going there to ensure that I work with all parties across the board to make sure that people benefit from the mineral sector?
Yeah, thank you. You see, that has been the argument for maybe our colleagues in the Fifth Parliament under the opposition. When they argue it out, that was your argument. You won it by showing some understanding. You know, you did the geophysics. But what we have not seen is how do you qualify the minerals and have investors by those areas to stop the exploration. And you know, it's been an elaborate argument. It's a very unending argument when you put forward that look, so you have to give us a license. That's the license I'm talking about. And Tawaz argued that no, it's an agreement. Honorable Tawaz, it's an agreement. It has to come to Parliament. But the argument with you and other people, the basic argument on only if you are talking about tax. So it cannot hold. Now, if you read section 40, subsection 4 of the Constitution, we will not bother to go into that. Take it down, section 4, agreement that as under the authority of the President, which you are representing, it must come to Parliament.
Yes, I do agree.
You agree. Yeah. And also,
I didn't say it's wrong. Sometimes.
No, your argument was from fact that you did not look at it. I'm referring to the law, anything contrary to the laws of the Constitution is null and void. Yeah. That's why I said 171 subsection 15. Yeah. But you are having genuine argument. Yes. This was a thing that was coming on and on that you're not a difficult man. You're not based on trust and sincerity. He said, no, we have carried this one for a very long time. And it was a deliberate question, that's why I'm killing this to Tower, asking you, trying to bring all of these arguments to play. As he said, also, Honorable MRC, you need to come and review. You need to make it very clear to us. Yes. It has been mixing up all of this, the mining lease agreement, the licenses, and the act. Yeah. Between you and you two, it has been a conflict. And he was managing it, but you are very firm. Your own firmness was based on trust and sincerity. So what do we intend to offer? So I don't want us to go into that. So I just draw your attention to the provisions that we are no end very soon, which are really familiar. That is all the complex situation we have dealing with. People who don't understand what we are talking about, it will be difficult for them to do. But when you look at the law, it's very complicated. And the argument is simple, based on trust, or what do we intend to offer? Yes, it's the law. That's why you are giving that argument. So let's put that Honorable, let's trust in that when it's approved, you will now come for thorough scrutiny of all of these things. How do we move on? So he has said, if I challenge the new enacted Mines and Minerals Act, that you cannot water down the professional aspect of this issue, and say we should reverse some of these laws to the professional level. We trust you on that. If you have approved, are we agree on that? So can we proceed? Can we give the ladies a chance before you talk? Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Minister Designate, congratulations in advance. Yes, I know all you have been saying. I remember we went to your office. I really admired the way you were talking from your heart, and you really want to see the mining sector benefit the people of Sierra Leone. To be frank with us all here, we know mining is one of our bread baskets. It's one of our own source revenue. If not regulated properly, we'll be just here and foreigners are chopping our own resources. But we are also concerned about our workers. You know, recently there are a lot of mining accidents happening in this mining concession. Some, they will just give the family some small amount of money. And mind you, any one person working in the mining company is owning a very big family that he or she is taking responsibility of. How will you like to handle safety of workers, especially Sierra Leonean workers? Because sometimes they will show you a lot of documents to say, oh, we have safety measure, we'll do X, Y, Z. But at the end of the day, if you go, they are not implementing it. So how will you ensure the safety of workers, Sierra Leonean workers in these mining companies? Thank you.
Thank you very much. NMA being the regulator, we have the Directorate of Mines, and we have the Inspectorate of Mines, and we have mine compliance monitors that do regularly visit these mining companies. And we also work with the EPA, that's also responsible for environment, health, and other issues. Sometimes there's an overlap. We do monthly, quarterly, and 6 monthly visits to the mining sites. Over the years, what has happened, when an accident happens, they have forms, paper forms they used to fill. And sometimes what we normally call incident report, it takes 2, 3, 4 days before it gets to us. Over the past few years, we've actually converted almost into electronic format. So it's easier, almost in real time or near real time, when something happens, to be able to take evidence that are time stamped and location stamped and sent to the NMA, and we pay these visits. One of the challenges have been, the regulation. Before the 2009 Act and before the 2023 Act, it was the 1994 decree. The fines that we are actually putting in those legal instruments, we are absolute. Say, for example, somebody losing an arm, you pay them almost 300 leons. This we are quantified in a way that it was very difficult to do anything. In 2009, this we are updated. Say, for example, if there's a fatality, you're supposed to charge them 750,000. But then again, there's a caveat. It means the companies can challenge and you have to go down to arbitration. But what we've done is to ensure that the last 4 years, we actually have in every large mining company, we have mine monitors actually stationed within those entities at the mine sites to make sure information is passed on to us. And we also audit their books in terms of accident. And it's also making sure there are precautions. We do not want accidents to happen before we react. We want to be proactive. And that's what we've been doing. And we'll continue doing that so that the NMA and the ministry and the other agencies will work together to monitor these companies.
The last statement, you want to be proactive.
Yeah.
No. Just say, yeah. Go to the next one.
Okay, thank you. I heard you describing yourself as somebody very pragmatic and very strict. Yeah, difficult. Your sister is a difficulty also.
There's a difference between being difficult and difficult.
Outsiders see it difficult.
But that's the term that everybody uses, so I just take it from there.
Okay. Mr. Matai, you know your country. We have had the biggest diamond in this country. And Sierra Leone is known to be a diamond country. And since then, up to today, I haven't seen the past ministers or even you trying to bring in the idea of us trying to sell our finished diamonds, our polished diamonds. When you go to Wageningen, that's in Brussels, you see our stones there from Sierra Leone. I was in Sukudu, I almost grew up in Sukudu. You see them bringing out their diamonds when they come to sell them from their mouth. And this type of diamonds, if you ask the price, no, you feel so bad. I mean, you think the exploitation this Western world are doing to us. So, how can we try, it's not still very late, to actually construct, train people that go to South Africa that can train us so that we can start publishing and selling out our published diamonds from now. We really need that. We're losing so much money. When you get that, then you know the pain I got when I saw our diamonds at the price at which we are sold.
Okay, let me just say this. And I'm saying this for Sierra Leoneans. Every time we talk about Sierra Leone, we say we are rich in diamond and gold. Sometimes I think it's an illusion. And the idea of a value addition is worthy. Upstream, downstream, side stream, by now you should have diamond cutting and polishing. In fact, there's a diamond cutting polishing bill of 2007, but it's never been promulgated into law. But one thing I want to remind you is I'll just give you a figure for 2022 because we have a full figure. Total diamond export from Sierra Leone, from industrial, that's Koyo Holdings, it's about $103 million. That's total export. Artisanal is $40 million. That's total export. But then the government gets from artisanal only 3% royalty. And now you take 3% of 40 million, it's about 1.2. 1.2 divided by the population of Sierra Leone, 8 million, you're getting about 17 cents per year. And that's why we go on gloating that we are reaching diamond. For 2022, actually, it was 17 cents. Yeah? So, that's the challenge. For those who want to come and invest in the sector, they have to look at their throughput, they have to look at their stock. It does not make sense to come and invest 15, 20, 30 million training people to cut and polish diamonds, but the diamonds are not there. The amount of carriage, it's an illusion, it's very small. Over the years, it's been extremely difficult to find diamonds for good reasons. They are depleted, now you have to go deeper, you need extensive area, you need to use machinery. As our act stands, artisanal mining still prohibits the use of mechanized tools. This is something we will be fighting for some time to make sure, rather than just using half an hectare land. So every time we go out to talk to investors, it's like, okay, what's your total diamond output? But compare that to Botswana. Botswana did in 2022 $4.3 billion worth of diamond, which is more than our GDP. The same thing for gold. That's even a shocker. 2022 total gold export from there is about $5 billion. $5 billion.
Sorry.
So,
sorry. That is principally, and I think the last parliament, or this parliament, has taken steps to remedy that. And it's principally because at the point of discovering the gold, you charge 3%. After exporting, you charge 3%. So most of our gold, you look at the eastern, you look at what Guinea is exporting in terms of gold cartage, and look at what Sierra Leone is exporting, you realize that Guinea is exporting like 4 times more than Sierra Leone. Because most of the gold found discovered in Sierra Leone are taken forward to Guinea, because in Guinea, you only pay 3% upon realization of the funds. So I think the Finance Act of 2023 has moved seriously to remedy that. But also, it is part of the review and recommendation you make, so that you will get real benefit from these minerals.
Just to summarize, so to entice somebody, an investor, to come and put a gold refinery or smelting plant here, when basically for 2022 we produce only about 78 kilograms of officially 78 kilograms of gold. It's no brainer, nobody's going to invest here.
Exactly.
So those are the cases. We need to increase on the production, we need to increase efficiency. Talking about Guinea, for 2022, Guinea did $1.7 billion. When they are doing about, artisanal, they are getting something like 13 tons, and we are getting something like
thank you. Thank you very much.
So that's the challenge.
Hello there. We have exhausted most of so I'll now give the floor to Remy.
Mr. Matia, I am concerned. Mr. Matia, I am concerned in the area of mines monitors. Mines monitors. Because over the years, you have mines monitors. You have mines monitors who are employed in this area. Some of them come without salary for long. They are left to go flying for themselves. So now, you as a minister coming in, you are approved. What are you specifically going to do in this area?
The issue of mine monitors, I think sometimes people confuse them with mines compliance officers. When it was the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, that's before the establishment of the NMA, all those workers were called mine monitors, and they were within the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, and they were on the government payroll, HRMO. Indeed, I agree with you, the salary was a pittance, and we still have some of them there. They are being paid through the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. In 2019, when they took over the NMA, we recruited those we call mine compliance officers. These are actually paid by the NMA directly. And we did a very serious vetting process to make sure we bring in young men and young women, at least who are qualified post-secondary school and university. And we recruited about 274 of them. Currently, as I speak, we have about 254. Over the years, yes, the salary base is small, but what we've done is actually to build on their capacity and competence. We've actually systemized, just recently we got 261 tablets, Samsung, from African Development Bank, so that we're now providing training, so that rather than using papers, they also now can use electronic ways of translating. And we are providing training in geographic information system, in basic mapping, and GPS tools, to at least improve their self-esteem and their self-confidence. I agree, we have 3 categories there, and for everybody's sake here, the 3 categories are we have a senior compliance manager. They get $3 million a month. Then the next tier is 2 million and 1 million. Then we send these people to hard-to-reach areas to monitor artisanal miners. And these artisanal miners provide them lodging, food, and maybe the care for it out there. I mean, you decide. What do you think they're going to be loyal to? So I well, we do hear those things. So I believe when we go to the ministry, can I just say one thing, sir, please? One of the things we wanted to do, and this is a strategy I've discussed, a typical large-scale mining license for the year costs 500,000. It's been like that since 2009. Since 2009. Now, it costs NMA 4.7 billion a year to be paid these people. Have advocated that the mining companies who come here, we should actually increase the annual license fees to about 750,000. So we can pay these people, can double the salary. These are our brothers, these are our brothers, these are our sisters. So let them pay. In Guinea, it's the opposite. They actually have this money. So I do believe inflation, we know salaries are not increased, but many companies have been paying 500,000 since 2009 as I speak. So I think we can take that money, internalize it, and use that actually to pay and improve on the capacity, competence, and at least the self-esteem of somebody else, of our young men or young women who are in these hard-to-work areas, hard-to-reach areas. So that's what I want to do.
You see, you're now being promoted professionally to policy. So you are taking on that. I said in my opening statement, we talked about interactive sessions. See how best all of us during the interview, you can see policies coming out from ministers or anybody here in the. So very interesting. And that's what you have done by rolling out policies. I don't know if you have something to just add before we
I am coming from Bauma Children. There's a huge artisanal mining going on there. Before you have said clearly that you have to, our diamonds are depleted now. So you have to mine deeper, and you cannot do that without machinery. Meaning our people are out of job in my constituency. In the last, when we were passing the Mines and Minerals Act, we recommended that artisanal mining we should use machines now with the approval of NMA. Do you still believe in that?
I do, and not only that, we took 2 years to study the Ghanaian model. The Ghanaian artisanal sector is called Galamsey. They stopped it completely for 2 years while they were revamping the sector. We do believe we need to merge artisanal and small scale together. Because as it stands, the World Bank and other development partners were insisting that it means as it is, half hectare, no more than 10 meters deep, and you should not use any machinery. To me, that's abject poverty in perpetuity. So we went to Ghana. The 4 factors of any for any society to develop is land, productivity, you need finance and labor. We thought instead of half an hectare, we could expand it right up to 4 square kilometers. It means as you are gaining your winnings, you can actually plow that money back. So it means people should have a larger access to land. In terms of productivity, was to allow people to use machinery. Work with EPA so that these machines are actually GPS tagged, so we know where they are and they're monitored, and they can also hide it out to people. The other thing was to make sure that these artisanal miners have access to finance, for setting up microfinance institutions, so they could use their license as collaterals to actually gain some financing from the institutions, and they can use that to buy machinery and plow that back in. And the issue of productivity, to make sure that they're trained and we could hire out simple machineries. We saw this working in Ghana. They actually improved the sector in terms of gold almost by 15-fold in 1 year. And now Ghana is number one in terms of gold exports, doing nearly $6.3 billion a year. So that's what we are saying. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the World Bank document formalization of the artisanal sector. They keep saying it's an alternative livelihood. I've always said, no, it should not be an alternative. It's a complementary. It's not mining or fishing or this. So I do believe a Bauma needs to have policy to engage and push up those policies to ensure the artisanal policy we had in 2018 again is revised in alignment with this new development.
Thank you. Thank you. I bring you to speak on the presidential statement. I can't remember directly the exact year, but I think it's 2023. Trying to protect women in mindset. So this policy statement by His Excellency the President. And they have women in the mining sector. And it says, high time for us trying to protect women in the mining sector. They are really vulnerable. That's a policy statement. Go back. We're also not asking you to react. We are bringing it to your notice. There's so much pollution going on. They are changing the level of water conservation. If you're not doing those for our aquatic organisms, species. So because of that, we also asking you to look at all of those things. I don't want to bore you with some of the things that you have said, but the only thing that when it comes, because you have vowed to change some of this was the interest of keeping a ministry functioning at different sectors. So I would like you to pay attention to some of these things, and we still have so much to discuss. If you come to Parliament, you interact with the oversight committee. What I will do for you, I will try when you get the appointment, when you get the committee set. I will try for you to have a formal meeting in Parliament with the committee. I will tell the chairman to call that meeting so that you can have a formal interaction. I'll tell them exactly what you do. You're going to have this perception and misinformation going on. Because you have your agenda in Parliament, there's another agenda in Parliament that you have to synchronize. All of us can work together. Thank you very much for coming. I wish you all the best. We'll meet at the plenary. When we meet at the plenary, we are hoping that you are presented and according. Thank you. The Minister of Sport.
Thank you very much. And I'm very grateful for all the questions and interaction. I look forward to catching up with you.
Thank you.
We have the Minister of Sport.
Support you, man.
Now we have the Minister of Sports. Presently, the newly appointed Minister of Sports.
Thank you. There's a bad there. Oh, sorry. And that means someone is. No, I should stop that. No,
We're doing our parliament still. We're doing a live coverage of what will happen at parliament as we get now the Minister of Sport, the first female Minister of Sport, and we can take vote and then two parliament questioning. So we wait as we get the Speaker of Parliament being Chemos Abbas Bonode, and which we presently talk to the leader of government business. Now continue for stating to Unity Broadcasting. We're doing a full of everything that will happen now in the government of Parliament.
Please, if you are here with us, when I call please wait, please. I'm only still continue to encourage our guests. Please do your interaction as moderate as you can, so we can quickly get nominees. We have so many nominees. We can also stop you not to come into the hall. But please make sure if you are moving out, move fast and get home. And also, if you want to talk, you can still just go and sit down and you have interaction. So I don't want to see please leave us, go outside and all the like that. But I really started good.
I, Augusta James Taylor,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee
before this committee
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. How are you, madam?
Thank you.
What is your name?
Augusta James Taylor.
You have your phone with you?
Yes, sir.
Can you take out your phone? You have done that already. Yes, yes. Thank you for your orderly presentation of your phone to us. Thank you very much. Yes. So now we look at the phone first. So that, can you read the text below your?
Sure. Canvassing of members of this committee is strictly forbidden.
Did you canvass anybody?
No.
Do you know anybody on the panel?
Yes, I know some. Canvass anybody.
You're a lecturer before. You are still a lecturer. Do you know anybody on the panel?
Yeah, I know people on the panel.
How?
Through different means, women empowerment, political activities, and
When you talk to them, they give you a bag.
Yeah.
You're the one that gave the presentation.
Yes.
At the civil service. You are the person.
Yeah.
You give a strong speech.
all our application letters.
Not personally, we have been too close.
I saw you in the chamber when you are about to enter the DVD.
Okay.
You are not optimistic at that point. Even for the public election start. You are very pessimistic. So you are just
very much indeed.
You are continually shaking your head. Sorry. But let's come to business. Your take out your stamp statement. Hey, man, where are you coming from? I mean, have to be a professional. You cannot come before the nominee. We are not too fascinated by putting us on the but we do appreciate your work here. So you want to can do be a professional and take a position where you can see all of us. Yes, we don't want you to cover the nominee. It's a very important thing. Madam, you don't read out your balance, but there is inconsistency.
Balance?
Yes.
You mean the
I read the first 3 digits.
Are we talking about the statement of accounts?
Yes. Go back to SLCD.
SLCD, yes.
Yes. And 30 June 2023. Your clear balance. You don't need to read it out. It's not the same that you are giving us.
Yes.
Are you sure this one is exact? Is it balance correct?
It's quite correct because it's taken from January to June, end of June. And what I have indicated there is up to present moment.
The one I have is different. Look at it from your handwriting.
Yes.
In your written text is different.
Yes, because the one here is from January to June, and the one there.
No, it's the one that we have that's in text. The one that we have here. It's not that you need to write here.
I got the difference because you were asked that I should do a statement for 6 months.
Yes.
And
or if you look up, where you have 01 GN 23 030 June 2023, clear balance, blah blah blah. And if you come back to the form in the first page, accounts with bank specific branch, type of account and balance. Of course, the balance, the sheet can tell us the type of account. But what is missing is the actual balance. You state that you have loans and sales. Have you seen that one?
I've seen it, yes. But what I'm trying to explain here is that we are asked to give a statement for the past.
No, you go back to the form.
Yes.
You see loans and send. LEC. Correct and form. It's a form of questioning now, not the balance, not the bank statement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so where did you get this form? The figure you have, they are written in the form. It's not the same that you have under the balance sheet.
The handwritten figure.
The handwritten figure is different. There's inconsistency.
Yeah, that is what I'm trying to say. Because this form was filled on the 19th day of July. And that is what is encoded here as the balance at hand. But this one was asking for 6 months before.
So go back to your bank statement, direct us in 19th July, where we have the balance of what you are giving us.
I think July is not
So you
there.
should not give us
It's end of June. I gave from January to end of June because you asked for 6 months.
That is the balance you give us. You have the balance already. That's what the question we asked. You are giving us different balance. That's what I'm saying. You are giving us the one that we have. I cannot question what I don't have. I cannot ask you something that is not within your reach. I'm saying the balance you are giving us here is what you should put in the form.
Okay, understand.
I want you to be consistent with your document. Somebody can say, you are on our oath, man.
Yes, and that is why I want to.
So just so we can do the correction. Yeah, because what I have, I don't have what you are giving me, what you have written, and what your balance statement. They are within the bracket. The first 6 months, they are giving that one. Nobody is questioning that one. But what I'm questioning now is the balance you wrote. It's not the same, not so. It's a bold one, but you have what you call what's NA in your form.
NA?
NA, I don't see what
I
you
don't have it. I'm not.
So you have to do the correction. Clerk, the clerk, can you do the correction during the? We also have to help some of these nominees in looking at some of these things. So when you come, you ask them. I don't know if Were you able to talk to them before receiving the form?
They've not the completed form.
So you should have looked at it and ask for the correction. No, on the website. Don't worry about that.
The protocol is when you get the form, you come for the directive, and that did not happen. The time we did not have time to look at them while the interview was so close.
No, Mr. Clark, forget about that.
The form is one part of it.
All right. Mr. Clark, leave it as it is. I don't want to put you into some difficult situation, but you should help them out. A old person, how do you feel to be a minister of sports in Sierra Leone? Let's just take on that. These are unique sports.
Yes.
Men dominated.
In fact, that's the more reason why congratulate me again as a woman.
So congratulate you as a minister.
As well as a woman.
Oh, as a woman. That's what you have done. That's why I was talking about the human being. The time you are pessimistic, you are optimistic.
Exactly.
So you should congratulate us.
No, but it's just in regards to the coaching.
Oh yes, I'm shocking. I want to do something. Just tell me something.
Yes.
What is really something unique about you? Yes, tell me.
That is that I believe that what
Look, that voice you gave out on that day, same voice I want to hear.
Today I'm in front of a
Go ahead. How do you do it?
So,
what is so special? How do you take this job?
I take it seriously because it's really a challenge to women. And me being a representative of women, to show the difference that what man can do, women can even do it better. And I have served in various capacities where men are, and I have aided them, and there has never been any problem, and we succeeded together. And it showed again that women can work with men, and they will work together, and bring in things, new things, innovative, and make the difference.
Thank you very much. I know you bring so many things to the fore in improving the sport disciplines. Are you sure of that?
I'm quite sure.
Okay, let me make reference to your CV 2005. Your qualification, identification republic. You already have a CV. Let me go to your CV. Take it out. In 2005-2006, pursued a postgraduate course in sport administration and management at Jala University of Sierra Leone, and awarded a master's degree in education degree certificate in 2007.
Yes.
Is that right?
Quite right.
Good. So for that, I know you know. I cannot say you are qualified, but you are within the bracket to ensure that there is better, proper, and discipline within the sporting arena now.
Exactly.
And this is what I expect from you.
Yes.
You are not an administrator rolling out the policies. I can see there's so much confusion within the Premier League. Petition over petition, people questioning the credibility of our referees, the proposal, and this. I'm not putting you into a difficult situation to answer the question. Because I have read your resume, you have a qualification in sporting discipline. I know you are going to work with people. And we will give you the support as Parliament. On the oversight committee, we'll do our best to support you. We have approved by Parliament. Thank you very much for coming. I want to give you, there is no need women talking to you. Are we have the land minister, please?
No minister.
Fambule Mui, they still the House of Parliament as we wait. They don't call the Minister of Lands.
Minister, the code, please.
I, Dr. Tura Sebisi, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me. So help me, Allah. Thank you, please.
Okay, sir. What's your name, sir?
Tura Sebisi.
You have your phone with you?
Yes, sir.
Can you take out the form, all documents you submitted to us? You have them?
Yes, sir.
Colleagues, can we take out our phones? Okay, below photograph, okay, it's still looking for a phone. Yeah, below photograph, can you read the text for us?
Presidential vetting of parliamentary vetting of presidential nominations, declaration of assets.
Declaration of assets. Below your photograph.
Canvassing of members of the committee strictly for.
What is funny about this?
The sentence looks very much interesting.
So you need canvassing.
I don't have any idea. In fact, I didn't see this line, this sentence. Because yes, I'm not expert.
We have incontrovertible evidence that you have canvassing and the Christians of parliament.
I need to see.
That's a very strong evidence.
Mr. Chairman, I need to
You have your own camera, sir.
No, I don't think I have to.
Mr. Minister, your own oath.
Sure, but I don't think I have to do that.
Suppose you bring the camera here and have it.
Disapprove me, sir.
So, Minister, we are just trying to fight corruption and see there's so much hearsay or people that send perceptions about this. You will survey talk about perceptions, and if you do any reaction, you can just emerge as a reality of the day. So, what you are doing for this committee specifically, that has to do with the public and that for the ministers, with other appointees, we make sure we really genuinely ask them, because sometimes if I'm related to you, tell you your own body of the panel, I will just recuse myself or other people will recuse themselves so that we can give credibility to the process. So that's why I ask you, you generally know anybody related to this panel? Then you have any relative on this panel?
I know there are Sierranians on this panel, but I do not have a relative on this panel.
If they're good police officers before.
Well, I don't think that background is getting me.
So, you're a police officer before?
I was.
That is where you know how to answer this. Mr. Tura Senesi, former lecturer and former Minister of Lands.
Yes, sir.
Your balance you have to check. Let's check your balance. Your balance is not consistent with what you have. You have to this balance you have to check because you have to redo what we call the asset declaration form, not the anti-corruption commission. I want to have consistency in what you do, and that's why we deliberated after 6 months. We have seen some inconsistency, and what you have written us. Just check. You don't need to read the figure. Maybe you would like to read the correction. What you are giving us, which is 214. The end, go down under the account 0030441122241000180. You see the figure, right? So you look at your balance, it's not the same, right? You don't need to call it out, just look at it. I'll give you time. Okay, you have the document.
I will review that.
Yes. So that's one you have to just cross-check. The others, the black and the red. Go back to. You said you have cash at 20. Is that
yes, sir.
You have it?
Not here, at home.
No. Cash in hand.
Yes.
At home. You have it now.
Implicitly, I cannot. That's the important something. I cannot work this case of it.
At the time you said in hand. Why do you?
At the time when I was filling the form.
You had it.
Yes, because I was filling this form at home.
Okay. This issue of insurance policies. Why are you telling us you have people? You said you have people. So what about insurance policy?
I thought it was personal. Insurance policy, the form was asking me for.
You have to look at the policies, company insurance, people insurance policies. Because the delivery to you down 10, there is no insurance policy given. So general insurance policy is given to C, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't mind giving us some type of insurance policies?
Well, if the vehicles are there and then they are roadworthy, certainly they have to be licensed.
445 ARW 4343.
They have to.
But can I get your attention, please? So are we agreeing that you fix up the insurance policies?
Yeah, they are up to date, sir.
Okay. So you should give all the insurance policies you have. Third party.
Right, I will attach them.
We don't want to. You don't necessarily have to just fix. Yeah. Of course, we appreciate I urge you to again review. Just go over your document and make sure you give the correct one to the clerk. Those might not be things that you did not answer. The reason why we're asking people because I saw the press release from Anti-Corruption Commission talking about people that we want to declare assets, talking about all of us. So we want to have inconsistency. We have a document already. So we just need to have a match. The match that you can expect to be the same, but expect you to grow is your balance sheet. I will update you. So we anticipate that you have a more attractive balance sheet.
That is not the case of
After 5 years, you have a more attractive balance sheet.
No, I think it is attractive standard.
Yes, I said. So you don't mind doing some review?
I will.
For visual consistency. Okay. You continue, Minister. If you are approved. You don't.
So I'm sure you are going to. Because I've been working with you and we have been working together.
We saw a lot of reforms when you took over them. So what do you plan? Are you going to be consistent or you plan to change policies so that this issue of land grabbing, the challenges you're having,
protecting people, working for the government, and land is a free gift of nature. Land is a free gift of nature. How do you roll out policies that can ensure that people are not disadvantaged in this business of this land distribution? As Sierra Leone.
I think we've started. The introduction of the raffle was one to make sure that land is distributed irrespective of time, region, political party, irrespective of your coloration in general. I think we've started. But let me just go to the question of land grabbing. I think we have to begin to think as Sierra Leoneans, introducing policies that are more or less policies with a human face, I would say. Now, I am struggling with land grabbing. In some other countries like Kenya, they have land tax. If you introduce land tax in Sierra Leone, for instance, you'll get over land grabbing quickly. Not only that, you also generate revenue for Sierra Leone that will help also to support social services. I'll give you an example. If you take Freetown, for example, you have about 280,000 acres of land in Freetown. If you introduce land tax, let us say you just target 200,000 acres in Western area, and then you give it a price of maybe 250,000 per town lot. You're talking about 2 million town lots in the Western area. 250, you'll be talking about $500 billion generated just on land tax in the Western area. 500 billion generated from that will now take care of so many other things in terms of social services. But then let us have it also. If you take that to the provincial headquarters town, you're going to curtail land grabbing, at the same time you're going to generate more revenue. That revenue could be used to support our schools, hospitals, we can do our roads in Sierra Leone. There will be no need for us to be talking about World Bank support. We cannot be partners rather than asking them to come and give us money. So it's a question of bringing in policies that will help to shape.
Why do you tend to only use your land banks?
The land banks are there. I think
you have them now.
We have some.
How many acres?
Well, the land bank I don't have the statistics here.
No, just roughly, assume. It's no record, just the range.
It will be between 10 to 20,000.
So how do you plan to do the parcel of land?
Well, let me go again to that.
Yes.
10 to 20,000 in Freetown in particular. You have lots and lots of also controversies with respect to land grabbing and encroachment in those areas. Up to this moment, we are also battling the land grabbers. So it's a question of also taking those ones also to the court system and then have a kind of verdict from the court system, and then we have to now gazette them and then we make it available to the public. We will not only make it available to those who want to build houses, but also investors. So in and out, I think you are aware, Mr. Chairman, that I've been coming here every now and then. We're having discussions on that. But the land bank is there, but then of course we need to clean it up because we have too many other people laying claim to them, to those lands, even though we are very much sure that those lands are not really, not belong to them.
Okay. Honorable question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dr. Truasinesi. One of the emerging issues today in the world is climate change. And this is a result of human activities. In Sierra Leone, for example, people are deforesting. They are going to the forest and using a lot of activities to destroy our forests. And we are seeing the consequences. There are a lot of legislations too on all of this. But how well do you intend to collaborate with the Ministry of Environment and the EPA and other institutions to ensure that we protect our forests so that we stop people from just going to destroy those forests just in the name of earning the land to build? So that is a very serious issue. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you again. You see, we have a lot more to do in terms of the implementation of the laws. The laws are there. There's a green belt. It says that this is a protected forest, this is a reserve area. But then the question is whether we have been.
Mr. Minister, you know very well. You know what we are the challenge we are. I think we are looking forward for total law enforcement. I mean, you are continuing, Minister, my lord, if you are approved. You're talking about enforcement. So you know the laws are there. How do you intend, based on this question, how do you intend to enforce the laws? It's a frank talk.
Well, I started working with the judiciary to have a special court for the prosecution of offenders. So I think all we need to do is to work with the Ministry of Environment to have one special court to prosecute offenders, because the laws are there. And I think we've been able to have or secure some funding to support the court. So that one is on course.
Any other question? So how do you intend to protect women in terms of land issue, especially in those areas that are in traditional practice? How is the law protecting them now?
I think together with Parliament, we've done it. The customary land rights bill, we enacted it here, which is giving a lot of support to women in terms of ownership of land.
So we see looking for enforcement. Is this business or enforcement?
No, we have stages we are going through. We enacted a law. Now we are propagating. We are now doing sensitization. We are now taking it to the public. So I think it's going to work.
Okay, Dr. Flores, yeah. Okay, from Tower, just hold on. Get on it with our.
Congratulations, Mr. Designate. You spoke of land tax, and considering the fact that we have just enacted 2 legislation for the Ministry, Customary Land and the Land Commission. And under the Land Commission, you have already set up and the President appointed the Commissioner General. What do you think we can do within the ambit of the Commission to ensure that the regulation that you will put out will cover the area of introducing a land tax policy so as to ensure or to enhance the revenue base of the country?
It has been there before now. This land policy has been there since 2015, but not implemented. So what we need to do now is to reactivate it again. But then for you to implement it requires a lot of sensitization, engagement with various stakeholders, including the parliamentarians. We have to do that. But I think once we embark on that, it's going to help us a lot in terms of domestic revenue generation, which is key to supporting governance agenda. Another aspect also, the other advantage is that it's going to help us a lot more in terms of calling out land grabbing. And then once that is done, conflict resolution is going to be minimized. Conflict over land is going to be minimized. You have a peaceful state, you have a peaceful environment, and that is good for Sierra. So we have to do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the challenge that we need to give you support for the area enforcement, because in security, we know what is happening around the land grab issue and protecting the land. We do the rest of it. So we thank you for coming, and we hope after we have finished this business, we can discuss and we try to present it to the general public. Thank you for coming. We're going to talk with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the House of Parliament.
All right. Let's take a break and we'll come back at 3:30.
The minister from my district.
Yeah, Fambulem, we take a break and we don't get the land minister don't come to questioning to Parliament, and we will come back after the break. We will continue for doing a live coverage of everything waiting to happen the well of Parliament 1. Thank you.